Al, and today I'm going to walk you through fitting a reverb seat post. Most of what you need to fit a reverb comes in the box, which is nice. You are going to need something to cut the hose with. SRAM recommend a hose cutter. They're quite expensive though. You can get away with using a Stanley knife with a nice fresh blade in it. Should create a nice clean cut. Need a few other bits and pieces like a rag to clean things up, but yeah, that's your basics. Also, as a word of warning, I know I'm not wearing them in this video, but it is wise to wear some kind of hand protection and eye protection when you're dealing with hydraulics. When you fit your reverb for the first time, ditch your quick release if you've got one, just fit an Allen key seat clamp, may as well save some weight there, you're not going to need it anymore. When you fit the post, fit some kind of carbon prep, like fibre grip, something like that. That will help the post to be clamped more easily, which will mean you don't need to use excessive torque on the clamp here. If you do over tighten it, it will restrict the movement of the post and it could possibly cause some damage as well. When you route the hose for your reverb, it's worth playing around with a few options. There's various ways of doing it. There's various guides that you get in the box as well. So have a play around and find what works best on your frame. Okay, push the button all the way in. Make sure this post is extended as far as it will go. Unscrew the adjuster all the way out, so anti-clockwise. With the hose routed properly through the frame, what we need to do now is work out how long the hose needs to be, so we've got to work out where we're going to cut it. So first of all, we need to remove the remote from the hose. Should just unscrew like so. For any post with a black collar rather than a silver collar, they should all have a screw fitting like this. That's it. Obviously don't press the button or flick the hose around because you'll lose some fluid. To determine the length of the hose, fit the remote where you're going to run it and make sure you can get a full uninterrupted turn of the bars in both directions. When you're happy, mark it with your finger so you're ready to cut it, or if you've got a bit of Tipex, something like that, you can mark it off so you know where you need to cut it. Remember, measure it twice, cut it once, because you can't add any on. Okay, now we've marked our hose, we need to cut it. Unravel it. We're aiming for a nice clean cut, so you definitely need a new blade on your Stanley knife. When you cut the hose, make sure you're holding this end firmly, because otherwise it will flick up and you'll lose some fluid. Nice clean cut. With the hose cut to length, we now need to reattach the remote. It's just a case of screwing it into place. Be careful not to apply any sideways pressure because you could snap the barb off. Whilst doing this, be careful not to press the button on the remote. Screw the lever all the way home, you'll feel it bottom out. Doesn't need to be super tight, it's not like a brake that's under a lot of pressure, so just snug it down and that'll be fine. With it all refitted, we can test it. If this button doesn't return all the way, or it's really sluggish, you definitely need to bleed it. This is totally fine, which I'm surprised about, to be honest, because I did make a bit of a pig's ear of it. I accidentally pressed the button very slightly and I think I lost a little bit of fluid out the hose. but it just goes to show how tolerant the reverb is. It's still working totally fine. However, I will show you how to bleed the remote in case you make a total hash of it. If you find you need to bleed the remote after shortening the hose, then this is what you need to do. Push the button all the way in, make sure the post is extended as far as it will go, if it will extend. Unscrew the adjuster all the way out, so anti-clockwise. You need to quarter fill your syringe with fluid. Get rid of any excess air from there, like so. The remote adjuster needs to be level with the floor. You need to remove the bleed screw there with a T10 Torx. Pop that somewhere safe. Screw your bleed syringe into place. With it pointing straight up in the air, you need to pull up on the syringe and push in the remote. Then push down on the syringe and the button should extend like so. If you repeat that process over and over again, you'll get any air out of the remote. When you're happy that there's no air in there, give the plunger a firm push down, unscrew it from the remote and refit the bleed screw. Like so. Once it's all bled, just need to clean up the brake and adjust it back to how it was. But clean off any fluid, it's only a drop there. If you've made a bit of a mess, you might want to get some IPA involved to give it a proper clean. Wind the adjuster back in to however you had it before. Move the remote back to how you had it set up previously. Nip that up. Make sure your shifter and your brake lever are set up how you had them before, and check that it's all working properly. Okay, thanks for watching. That's your lot. Happy trails.